Dear teachers, students, special guests, let us all welcome you at the 5th FUGGER Forum we are hosting in the school, which will close an amazing project that we've been working on for more than 2 years.
Well, you're right. The project focusing on Jacob Fugger's life and influence has brought us together with our friends from Germany, Spain, Italy, and Belgium. And it has led us to lots of new and interesting places.
Today, we will see and hear presentations of our partner schools focusing on various footprints of Jacob Fugger across the European countries. But before, let us welcome two special guests who are experts in their field of study.
Please welcome Mr. Stanislav Jelen, who is going to present about Lubietova, which is the place we visited on Tuesday.
Their guests, their students, their teacher. I am Stanislav Jelen and work in Slovak Academy of Science, Institute Earth Science, and also teach in University of Matej Bel in Banská Bystrica. I can show a few information about different heavy metals in plants and in soil and damp, and also the cementation process and facts about this. This special research was made with my colleagues from university, Professor Peter Andráš and your colleagues Adam Lichy, Jana Rusková, Ladomersky, Matušková, and oldest friend Ivan Kryžány. This is a picture with sketch of damp in Podlipa. This is a copper deposit, special for also with cobalt and nickel in different deposits. These mine ore minerals in chalcopyrite, tetrahydrite, enantite, pyrite, and gang minerals is, for example, siderite and ankerite. You can show in optical microscope this chalcopyrite and yellow color, and covellite and iron oxides with this is chalcopyrite in the quartz. This is native copper, and this is in Polish section special scan electron microscope. There is cuprite, native copper, and pseudomalachite is this Polish section. This is also Polish section and few images about goethite and hematite. This is special iron oxides in these ores. You can see here in this picture for hematite, this is small tabular crystals, this red color, and this is in electron microscope. We can see this tabular hematite on the surface iron oxyhydroxides. This locality is very now this mineral association, special these secondary minerals, there is new described in the world. We libetenite, eucrite, and mrazekite. This is some minerals from this locality. This special picture from libetenite crystals. This is also pseudomalachite in Polish section in transmitted light with these manganese oxides. And this one is also a distribution of elements in these manganese oxides in Polish section. This is iron, copper, phosphorus, barium, cobalt, manganese, and gallium. This dam in Lubietova, this maybe periphery near this forest. In this deposit is situated in Permian rocks, with also this increased radioactivity in this mineral water when it's in Linhart. This one is some one of this old edit in right side in this Permian rocks, and you can see this history of exploitation, and maybe in 1863 was this mine closed. This first information was about sediments in this dump field. This is contents of heavy metal. This more is iron. This contains copper. Oops, sorry. Copper, arsenium, bismuth, zinc. This is a sketch of this damp, and also uran and thorium. This is a map of this damp field with these isolines for these different elements. For example, iron, uranium, copper, arsenium, zinc, cadmium, and lead. In this deposit is lack of, it's all only maybe a few percent of carbon and half percent of sulfur. This is information about pH, and this is a picture about these gang minerals, quartz and carbonates, and also a distribution of these elements in carbonates. Next, you can see also some special research about sorbents. Maybe it's very special, this information. Here is these differences of the sorption capacity, these elements, copper, lead, arsenium, and stibbium. When you have more detailed information in two topics than I have here. Okay. Second one information was about this water, surface water and groundwater. This pH is neutral, maybe 6.2 and 7.7. These contents of copper, iron, and arsenium you can see in this picture. This is this green water and cementation process. When made also some information, these students from basic school in Moskovska, and these photos you can see this native copper when was in surface iron nail. And this is very similar process in Špania Dolina edit Ivan or gallery, when you can see these results of cementation process, these dendrites of copper. This one is under binocular, this microscope, and this picture shows under electron microscope. This scale is about 100 microns. This is about 1.5 centimeter. This all dendrite of copper. And this is nail polish section. When you can see here copper, native copper, this white field. This is iron oxide and iron nail. This one is also distribution of these elements. Copper is this red color and iron. And this is analyzed from electron microprobe. In groundwater is very interesting, these high contents of the total radioactivity in becquerel per liter. This is Linhart natural mineral spring water with sodium and carbonates. This is plot of evidence. This valencium arsen 5 or arsen 3. I'm mineralogist and geologist, not geochemist. This is information about iron barrier. When about 12 hours is this total decontamination of copper in granulous iron 0. This for copper, for stibbium and arsenium and pH, variation of pH. And contamination of plants, few information about this. We studied some special, this damp filled with copper, arsenium, stibbium, and other heavy metal. This field is without vegetation cover, but some small plants we here we studied these contents of elements, and the heavy metal concentration in plants decreased in range iron, zinc, lead, and copper, and in range roots. Next, twigs, stems, and leaves, needles, and small contents was in flowers, seeds, and fruits. This is in Pinus sylvestris and Betula pendula. This is contents of these elements when was studied in this process. But the exception proves the rule. The highest contents of copper and gold maybe are predominantly in these leaves. And we studied also these trees and the wood. For example, this is Pinus sylvestris and Betula pendula. You can see these length, current rings in Pinus sylvestris and Betula pendula. This is with heavy metal plants. Oops, sorry. Tak. This one is very thin, maybe some 100 microns. This one here rings, and this normal field is next. This maybe 10. This thing is 10 more. And also you can see in damp field in trees deformation of the top parts. These stork nests, for example, when show these arrows. Also some picture with Acetosella vulgaris and these red color or purple colored plants. These leaves. Also is this chlorosis of leaves and deformation root system. Also with cadmium, you can see this metabolism changes on Acetosella vulgaris asteraceae. Also these small Pinus sylvestris needles when have only 2 centimeter. This length. This is wood of Betula pendula and Pinus sylvestris, and you can see in scan electron microscope image this structure of this wood and anomalous coarsening of the cell walls. This is 20 microns, this scale bar. This is Pinus sylvestris. You can see this exfoliation of summer tracheate cell wall layers and occurrences of numerous causes and formation of numerous resin canals in Betula pendula. This scale bar is 50 microns. And also was present this hyphs from mushrooms and so. And in results, the complete recultivation of the damp field is impossible. It is necessary to monitor the groundwater and to close the spring of the mineral water Linhart. The application of the iron barrier is the possible solution how to remove from the water copper, antimony, stibbium, and arsenium. And the potential of acid mining drainage production is low. The average of acid production is about 4, and it's necessary to this neutralization about 4 kilogram CO3 per ton in sediment. Thank you for your attention. Well, sorry for my bad English. And in this table, when you can interest is few documentary samples for this copper mineralization from Lubietova or Malachov, when is this mercury mineral cinnabar. Thank you. Have you some question or in discussion after? I don't know. Voice in practice.
Many thanks to Mr. Healing for his interesting presentation. Up next, we have Dr. Martin Kvetak with his presentation on Jacob Fugger. He and his company, what would it be like today?
We was meeting in Lubetova also. You know that I am an archaeologist. I'm dealing with the oldest evidences of the mining activity. But today we have a presentation about this man. It will be a presentation about present days and connections with the past, with the era in which this man lived. These two pictures show you how the world changed in the 500 years. On this picture you can see the modern, in the 16th century modern, cargo ships, galleonas, who connecting two continents, America and Europe. And in present days you have this cargo ship, SpaceX ship, cargo, who connecting ISS and the Earth. This is the change of 500 years ago of the era of Jacob Fugger and the present days. Who knows what doing Jacob Fugger today? He maybe will be owner of the SpaceX, or I don't know. This is the idea of the presentation. What he will do in nowadays. Yes, you can see the increasing of the city in a rich country. How natural sources can help us develop community or the world. You can see Dubai in 1950. Small city built in traditional technologies. And after more than 60 years, we have a large metropolis of the world where it's concentrating of world capital, brains, and modern technologies. Thanks to the natural sources. You know these guys? This is one of the most influenced businessmen in the world with their own trademarks. This is the latest generation of the young billionaires base their business on the modern technologies. Digital technologies, modern technologies, they have visions of the future. The generation before, or two generations before, the same people. But these people, you can see, are older. The change is the speed of the development. These guys must work whole their life to make a rich or to be rich. Their companies are based on also on the sources of iron, steel, oil, and for modern business or management of the world. But they was also visionaries in their era. And this is the visionary of the 16th century, 15th century, 16th century, Jacob Fugger. His trademark and the metal on which he based his business, the copper. From era to era, there are some spaces or places where the brains are concentrating. New technology technologies are concentrating. Visionaries, young people, business are concentrating. In the last decades, this place is one of the most developed cities, Silicon Valley. Tech campus, where the new ideas are creating to the reality. The future is creating dreams are making real. Past decades before, London City, Wall Street. Wall Street. Also, New York was the walls, has the walls in the 17th, 16th century. But after centuries, the Wall Street was the center of the world business. In the era of the Jacob Fugger, the city was Venice. In northern Italy, Venice was the city where young people, brains, capital, money, new technologies are concentrated in the city. And the young Jacob was studying. He preparing his company to the business life for a business life. The first picture of three guys, Bezos, Musk, Gates, they are studying in universities, MIT, Harvard, but in the era of the Jacob Fugger was a real study in the real national city, Venice. Yes, this is the part of the Venice, Rialto or Geta, which is very interesting for Bystrica or history, because in account books of the medieval city of Venice, we have evidence since 1351 that there was selling copper produced in Neozolio, in Banská, old name of the Banská Bystrica. So, 700 years before today, there was a trade with our products. So, in this city, Jacob Fugger was living and preparing for the business. Oh. You can see the map from the early 16th century of the Mediterranean space. The most richest space in that time. And the Venice is in the center of this. Whole trademark from Europe, whole trade routes from Europe was concentrated in the city. Also trade from East Africa, Fugger's family starting their business in textile production. When Jacob Fugger was born, their family trading with textiles more than 100 years. Through this business, they creating new, developed about accounting, trade technologies, type of process of producing, etc. This type of business creates a rich amount of money for the family. So we have in a late 15th century, second half of 15th century, we have a rich family, textile traders. They starting influence politics. This famous picture is interesting and telling us about the political influence about Fugger family. This we have a white arrow, you can see is there. This is Jacob Fugger. Maybe. But this is the proxy wedding of Maximilian I, grandson Ferdinand, who was the emperor of Holy Empire, Germany. And this Because he know when he influence politics, emperors and monarchs, he can do business very easily. So, his way to create big business model was connecting the financing of the governing family, most powerful governing family in Europe, Habsburg. You know, this is the same in nowadays. We have a strong companies that are very interesting in local politics. They are very the rich people have very close to the local politics in the spaces with natural sources and interesting sources for big things. So, with the political influence, he started doing business in mining. Two methods for him was very interesting in the day. Silver for producing money, because the coinage system was based on silver coins. But more interesting for him was copper, because copper you can use in wide array of products. Among them are weapons, because bronze cannons was starting using the era in the late 15th century, early 16th century, and each monarch, each country want weapons as cannons. So, in this early 16th century was very interesting for producing copper. So, as today, this is strategic metal for the future, lithium, you know, many cars are starting electro cars, electromobility, green energy is based on the electricity and batteries. So the main metal for future is lithium. In the era of the Jacob Fugger, it was copper. So he must find the local sources, very rich local sources of copper. And you know, this guy, Tuzo, from Hungarian Kingdom, from the speech, who was interested in mining activities near Banská Bystrica. So, these two guys meet in Venice. Jacob Fugger brings to the business money, accounting system, and connections on the world trade centers. Fugger, Tuzo came invention in smelting process to separate silver from the copper, and copper smelting process, and especially water pump system from mines. So these two guys connecting and create Tuzo Fugger's company, one of the first modern business companies in the world. And basically in this company was the Banská Bystrica. You can see our space with Banská Bystrica, and this space is full of natural sources, especially copper, Paniarovina Valley, Ljubetová Valley, Oniki. These three small regions are the richest regions for copper in Europe. From the ancient times, 6,000 years ago, and in the era of Jacob Fugger and Jan Tuzo was full of the metals because it was deep, and these two guys prepared company to get these sources. The land was mining, sources was transporting on the surface, and the land was completely gravity. The climate on the other side, companies, the FUGGER company, who brings money to the region, was very bad situation in ecology. To the future, spend only few fragments of these activities, especially copper smelting factories, Staré Hory, Banská, Bystrica. But in other countries, especially in South America, there are more larger mines today, nowadays, and you can see the environmental disaster of the copper mining activities today. As I said, FUGGER brings to the company large scale of trade routes, all the same world, especially connection to India, very rich country in that era, connecting mining areas, smelting factories, ports, and sea trade. The same net using global companies today. You can imagine that. It's the same data centers, edge networks. So you can see the message of the FUGGER's activity in the early Renaissance is make nets or trade routes, centers, create the business with other cities and countries, the modern globalistic company. But the rich people are very interested in social programs, especially you can see a foundation Bill and Melinda Gates or Carnegie Hall, very interesting building culture life. But Jacob Fugger is also interesting in social housing in So you can see the connection between era of Jacob Fugger and present is very closely than can be imagined. And if you want to know more about this, you can see or write this book. Thank you very much.
Thanks and applause for Martin Kvetok for the interesting presentation and input to our knowledge about Jacob Fugger. Now it is finally the time for the students to present their findings and footprints of the historical European influencer in their countries. We are starting with our dear friends from Belgium.
Magali? Moeten wij dit ding gebruiken? Ja. Staat er aan? Niks wel. Wij zien ook wanneer dat zondag gaat. Wij zien het. Waar gaat het?
Okay, hello everyone. Today we from Belgium are going to present Jacob Fugger and Antwerp in the Fuggy Forum, or more formally Fugger Forum. We are going to be presenting, but who is we? Well, we are Marie, Noah, Hanneleen, Seba, Yash, Andre and me, Magali. So I'm going to quickly summarize what we're going to be doing. So, first we're going to watch a beautiful video about Antwerp. Then the history, Jacob Fugger. Then a surprise, and I hope all of you will participate. And then, of course, the best game and the best ending for a presentation, Kahoot.
Well, it's hard not to fall in love with Antwerp. Belgium's second largest city has a lot more to offer than you might expect. I know that some of you already have been there, but for those who haven't, we have a little introduction video.
Antwerp, a dynamic pocket-sized metropolis in a prosperous region. It offers a world of opportunities and a flexible, customer-oriented workforce. Antwerp is the perfect gateway to the world, a strategic location in the heart of Europe, and home to Europe's second-largest port for international and inland shipping. Connected to other European cities by air, rail, road, and sea. Antwerp has a strong economy. It's Europe's #1 chemical cluster, second worldwide. The dominant trade capital city of the world, where startups develop into scale-ups, and is Belgium's favorite retail destination. Antwerp has a drive for innovation. It's the international reference in the fields of Internet of Things and artificial intelligence, in sustainable chemistry, and also the creative industry. Antwerp is the home to the University of Antwerp, a comprehensive research university with an increasing number of students and highly educated and multilingual talent. Antwerp, a city with endless assets, 171 nationalities, a thriving cultural scene, a hotbed of creativity. Discover the myriad of opportunities of Antwerp.
Okay, well, you probably don't really know where the name Antwerp comes from. We will tell you a story, and to make it a little more interesting, we'll play it out for you. The name Antwerp has a rather interesting history. It originated from the encounter between a magical and evil giant, whose name is Antigone, and Brabo, the protagonist of our story. So here we go. Once upon a time, Antigone lived in a castle by the Scheldt. He caused great distress to the people of the city by demanding a toll for crossing the river. If they refused, he would cut off their hands and threw them away. He continued to terrorize the story until one day a brave hero named Brabo dared to challenge the giant. After a suspenseful battle, he slayed the giant and threw one of his hands into the river as a way of paying retribution to the people the giant mistreated. The name Antwerpen originated from the words Handwerpen, which literally is translated to throw the hand. This is why on the town square in front of our city hall is a statue of Brabo to remember his fearlessness. Until this date, you may go and check it out.
Of course, that was really funny, but let's now see what really happened. So, in the beginning of the 12th century, Antwerp had an economic boom. So, which means that our rivals, the port of Bruges, became pretty useless. Yay. And so, yeah, we did great. So Antwerp was in the time the gateway to the other big harbors in England and in Zeeland, which is now the Netherlands. So yeah, that's good. But it kept continuing because in the first half of the 14th century, Antwerp was the metropolis of the world in trading and finances. And because of it, it was also the export hub of one of our teacher's favorite drink, wine. But then the County of Flanders came, and in 1356 he took the city, and Antwerp lost a lot of its privileges. But yeah, 50 years later we gained back on top, and yeah, everything changed, and so our golden age of Antwerp had begun. And that's why, at that time, people called Antwerp the loveliest city in the world. But of course, we all know it still is the loveliest city in the world.
Yeah. No. The 16th century has gone down in history as Antwerp's golden age. The port bloomed due to the goods produced in the South Netherlands provinces. Halfway the 16th century, the port was enhanced to support this growth. But when Antwerp fell into Spanish hands, the city lost its commercial status. We have a lot more to say about Antwerp and its rich history, but if you want to learn more about that, you'll have to visit the city yourself. And now we're going to talk about the man that brought us all together, and you might have guessed who exactly? Jacob Fugger. Jacob and the Fuggers transferred their bank and their trading office to Antwerp because it proved to be the best place to maintain contacts with England and the English royal family. A branch office of the Fugger firm on the Scheldt River was first documented in 1493. To highlight the firm's position on the Scheldt, a house in the Steenhouwerswest number 28 was purchased, a strategic central location in the city of Antwerp. There we can see the house, but it does not exist anymore, sadly.
At the beginning of the 16th century, Jacob Fugger was involved with a scandal. Some of you may know it. He was involved with the cause of the Reformation. Well, in those years, God could be bribed. Of course, not literally God, but if you understand what I mean, that would be helpful. With the people just gave some coins to get salvation from God. But of course, the Fuggers had to keep some from themselves. How else would they get rich? But that's not the only way they got rich. Charles V, the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, he needed help from Jacob Fugger. He loaned some money from Jacob Fugger, but he couldn't pay it all back. So instead of paying it back, Jacob Fugger got privileges to a mine, namely silver and copper mines. Now, a fun fact and some explanation about the beautiful picture of Jacob Fugger. He's also compared to with Dagobert Duck from Disney. Everyone knows him, right? The very rich duck. And then another fun fact. His dead body from Jacob Fugger was apparently found under a pile of gold ducats.
In addition to their banking activity, the Fuggers also traded in copper, which they monopolized heavily for many years. Antwerp was a major market in Europe during parts of the 16th century, and according to this inventory, there was a stock of close to 2,000 tons of copper in the Antwerp warehouse. That's 50,000 times Marie. That's Marie. The Fuggers were also involved in the export of silver from Central European mines, exempli Gratia Schwarz in Austria, into Antwerp, and by the middle of the 16th century, the Fuggers were heavily involved in the trade of Spanish silver. The trading of all these products contributed to the city becoming a vital center for transportation of money. It is quite likely that the greater part of German goods passed through the hands of great Augsburg families, such as the Fuggers, and merchants from Augsburg were responsible for the greatest volume exports from Antwerp to Germany during much of the 16th century. It wouldn't be an understatement to say that Jacob Fugger was one of the largest contributors to the rise of Antwerp. Okay, so now for the surprise. I'm gonna teach you some Dutch. Just one sentence from a very famous person we do not know. Uh, so this is a very nice quote. We did not make it ourselves, be rest assured. So please repeat after me. Antwerpen is stad. Al de rest is parking. Antwerpen is stad. Al de rest is parking. Antwerpen is stad, al de rest is parking. You do not know what it means. Okay, let's go. Oh, next. Kahoot.
Then, like I said before in the introduction, the best ending of the presentation, the Kahoot. So get your phone out and let the games begin. The code will normally show up on the screen in a few seconds. Guys, please listen up. Because of some technical issues, the Kahoot isn't really starting. So we're going to try the sentence again. So, who knows the sentence?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Great.
We did it a few seconds ago.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's perfect. Congratulations. 1 point to Italy. Now, any other countries? No countries. I mean, Germans can try. Come on, Germany. Lucas? The quote. The quote. All the rest is parking. Well done, well done. Another point in Germany. Is that gedaan? Of niet?
We can already say the codes, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so it's not really showing up on the screen, but you guys will have to listen really well, because I'm going to say the code. Okay, so first number 9, 2, 8. Has everyone gotten that? Okay. 9, 2, what? I might have confused some numbers. Let's start again. So, no, I think it's showing up. No. Yes, yes, up. It isn't a big screen, but
Die vragen waren toen in het Engels, hè? Die vragen waren
kunnen 50 zijn. Oké. There's still people trying to join. Or has everyone joined? Then we can start the game. Is everyone ready? Okay. May the best win. Some got it wrong. Some got it wrong, but it will be overlooked. Who of the four destroyed our beautiful city? A lot of people said the Netherlands, understandable. Let's go on to the next.
The internet is really bad. What? The internet is really bad. Yeah, but you're doing well. You're doing well.
Everyone, almost. Guys, listened well, because this is a difficult one. Okay, you listened. Great. Please take your time, but also be fast. The clock is ticking. Oh my God. So less than half got it, but it was to be expected. Let's see what the rankings. True or false question, be fast. Some got it wrong. Might be a joke in this question. Please notice it. Someone actually picked green. Johanna, Lucas, you guys knew it. Do you still know it? You guys don't have dyslexia. Is everyone ready for the last question? True or false? Who isn't answering. Hey! Hey! Who? Okay. Who was third? Okay, who was second? And first? Hey! Please wait a second. Thank you for your attention.
Is it switched on? Okay. We turn it off.
Thank you, guys. Students from Germany, the stage is yours.
Does it work?
Yeah, it's hello.
Nein, das muss eigentlich jemand. Ja, du machst das mit dem Ding. Du machst immer die Folien drüber. Das ist besser.
Ja, den Hals am Anfang aber für mich.
Ja, okay.
Jetzt warten wir jetzt erstmal ein bisschen. Dann mache ich es immer. Ich weiß, wie es geht. Ich kenne das Skript. All right, we're settled down now. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today, the German group consisting of Ole, Benjamin, Jana, Paul, Jakob, and me, Lukas, is going to tell you a little bit about our hometown, Augsburg. Also about Jakob Fugger, of course, but first I'll start with Ole's part. So Ole will be presenting Augsburg and all of its different interesting sites. After that, Benjamin will present the Fugger timeline, basically the life of Jakob Fugger. And while doing that, you will learn many interesting facts you probably did not know before. Then Jana will give us an answer to the question, is Jakob a modern influencer? And if yes, why he still continues to influence our lives nowadays. Then Paul and Jakob are going to finish off the presentation by showing us some of the projects we did with the Erasmus group, and of course talking a little about our school, but you'll see. So I'll start by showing you a short teaser video about Jakob Fugger. Schon klar. So just a quick recap. So these are all of our destinations. Of course, first we went to Augsburg, which you can see is the blue marker. After that, we visited Sterzing in Italy and Almaden in Spain. Then came Antwerp in Belgium, and of course now Banská Bystrica in Slovakia.
So now I'll give Ole the word, and yeah.
Okay, so like like Lucas just said, we're the group from Germany, and so Augsburg is obviously in Germany, and it's located in the south near the town of Munich, and it's also our hometown. It was founded by the Romans more than 2,000 years ago in 15 BC, and it has around 300,000 inhabitants. And the waterworks were considered a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2019. And we have a lot of history and culture to uncover in Augsburg, so I'm just going to focus on the most important sites. One of them being the town hall, or Rathaus in German. It was built in the 17th century by the architect Elias Hall, and the Golden Saal, or Golden Hall in English, is incredibly beautiful. We've also visited with some of you during the mobility in Augsburg. And together with the Perlachturm, or Perlach Tower, the two are a symbol for Renaissance art north of the Alps. And the Perlachturm was built as a watchtower in the medieval ages to spot fires that were in the city. But today it's just used as a clock tower and as a tourist attraction, since you'll have some of the best views in Augsburg from up there. Next up is the Wevershaus, or Weberhaus in German. It dates back to the 14th century, and it was used as a center for fabric trade. And like it was already said, the FUGGER started their business empire with the trading of fabric, so it was really important to them. And this building you can see in this picture dates back to 1913, and it's an exact replica of the original building. And then we also have the Fugger and Welser Museum. It tells the history of the Fugger and Welser families in an interactive way, but after our presentation you probably won't even have to go there. Next up is Benjamin.
So now I want to talk about Jakob Fugger's life. First of all, Jakob Fugger was born on March 6, 1459. He was born to his father Hans Fugger and his wife Barbara in Augsburg. Then he went to Venice for education. Since 1473, he got a good education in mining and banking business. There he also was inspired by architecture, which he later on brought to Augsburg. Then he went to copper mining business. Here he soon held a monopoly position in whole European market. Then, seeing that copper mining is successful, he went to silver mining. There he partnered with Augsburgs and also held soon monopoly position. He also founded the first social housing settlement, Fuggerei. There, Fuggerei hosts 150 Augsburgs. Unfortunately, he died on December 30th, 1525, and was buried in their family chapel. Now I want to present Sant'Anna Church. Sant'Anna is a Protestant church located in Old Town. It's a special since the Fugger chapel inside the church is still Catholic and Jakob Fugger was buried there. Now I want to give stage to Jana.
So we asked ourselves, is Jakob Fugger a modern influencer? And our answer is yes. Because he influenced the world, even today. So in the next picture, okay, so in the next picture you can see the Fugger houses, which serve as a credit institute nowadays and served as a residence for the Fugger family between 1512 and 1515. Fugger influenced the economy through trading cotton, making loans to dukes, kings, and popes, and most of all in the mining industry. He also influenced the politics with his contacts through the people he lent money to. So now let's continue with the hashtag social. Social, because Jakob Fugger created the Fuggerei, and it's the oldest existing social settlement, and it is just over 500 years old. The annual rent is 88 cents, and in total there are 67 houses including even an own church. So, however, there are a few conditions you have to live in the Fuggerei. You have to be Catholic, you have to be a citizen of Augsburg, and you have to be financially in need. Additionally, you have to pray 3 times a day for the Fugger family. So in this picture you can see a show apartment that shows how it used to look in the Fuggerei. And this part is one of the museum of 3 museums in total. These are about history, the residents, the everyday life, and there is even a bunker.
So, as you have seen, the Fuggerei doesn't get any money from the inhabitants. To sustain the Fuggerei, other sources of money are needed. Today, the Fugger family earns money by selling wood from their 3,200 hectares of forest. This equals around 4,300 football fields, which is a lot. But the Fugger family does not only care about the money. They also want to have a sustainable forest. That's why the foresters plant mixed forest, which is home to a variety of wildlife, including endangered and rare species. And the Fuggers have taken steps to protect their habitat. Additionally, they protect the forest against climate change by planting climate-resistant trees. This structure was built for the anniversary of the Fuggerei, which was 500 years. It is made out of wood from the Fugger forest. And even popular politicians like Ursula von der Leyen showed up to give a speech. The motto is #Next500, and it shows the next 500 years of the Fuggerei. As you can see, some of you had the chance to see the building when you visited us last year. A week after your visit, we had a workshop where we had the opportunity to create our own Fuggerei. We took aspects from the future to establish a concept for modern social housing. As an example, removing religious criteria for entering.
And now we come to our school, the Jakob Fugger Gymnasium, and we are about 800 students. Our school was built in the 20th century, and our motivation words are social together in Europe. And also some people from here had already the chance to visit our school last year in Augsburg. We also deal with our namesake, Jakob Fugger, in our school with some projects. For example, on the left you can see our project day, and on the right you can see some art projects from Jakob Fugger. 11 tons of CO2 were produced by the German participants' travel through the years. And with our tree planting campaign, we planted around 350 trees, and these trees will convert about 4.4 tons of CO2 in their whole lifetime. And the day was a lot of fun, and we also learned a lot of things about the ecosystem from the Fugger forest. And we also planted a tree in Banská Bystrica today.
Okay, so now that we're at the end of our short presentation, I would please ask you guys to scan this code on your phone so that you can participate in a quiz where we'll check who of you paid attention, and the winners will also receive a prize, so you better be good at it. All right. Herr Haas.
Einfach reload.
Yes. No.
Aber kann man das nicht auch hier sehen, weil das ist doch dumm. Ja, wir hätten einfach den Hut benutzen sollen. Ich weiß,
Sie müssen es jetzt starten. Sie müssen es jetzt starten.
Ja, das ist nur hier unten das Leaderboard.
Nö,
Geh mal.
just press start, participate in the quiz, so this won't be like a quiz or won't be moderating anything, luckily. And you guys can, when you are done with the quiz, there's going to be a leaderboard. The first three places will get some prizes from us. Ja, ich hätte gar keinen. Kahoot macht das viel mehr. Attention everybody. Hello? So, okay, so okay, is everybody finished? Are you guys finished with the quiz? Yeah, please. Yeah. Okay, everybody, we found our winners. We have three now, so I'm gonna read out the names. So on place number 3, we have the Riz Master. So please come out, Riz Master. Thank you, Mr. Riz Master.
Thank you.
Was? Nein, ist falsch. Nicht? Ja, aber
Nein, du hast nicht abgedatet. Du musst nach unten ziehen.
Ah, das ist
blöd.
Ja, das
ja, dann mach mit Hannelien weiter und mit
okay.
Marco.
Then on second place is Hannelien. So everybody. Ja, Digga. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Done. And the first place is Marco. So Marco, please come out. So, jetzt mehr als einmal. Then, who's DG? DG? Yes, come out, please. Digga, das war ja... Okay, so you're actually third place, but yeah, we kind of fucked it up, so have fun. Kommen Sie. Was? See you in Augsburg, everybody, and
Nee, du hältst das mal schnell. Ja, das machst du hervorragend. So, a few additional information. Yes, during the project meeting in Augsburg, we also have this FUGGER forum for the first time. And the students from Banská Bystrica asked the audience or tell the audience that they don't know if Jacob Fugger has ever been to Banská Bystrica in person. Because in the former years it was quite typical to make contracts. Of course, it was known that there were contracts about Fugger and Turso, but it was also very popular to write and rewrite contracts without meeting each other. So this was, of course, very interesting for us and our headmistress, Angelika Felber. Greetings to you. Made a search inquiry to the Fugger Forum, Fugger Archive. And yes, last week we received the answer. And yes, this is somebody like, yes, for the first time for centuries, that this secret is now not a secret anymore because we are streaming worldwide. Fugger has been to Banská Bystrica at the 26th of January, 1507. And yes, einmal weiter. Es geht nicht weiter. Schade. Tot. Can you click weiter? It doesn't work. Yes. So perfect. Yes, this is the original document. It's the first and the last page of the document of the contract. Jakob Fugger signed with. Can you just please click on again? Yes, Jakob Fugger signed with Hans Turso, Jörg Turso, and Jakob Fugger itself. So, and it is written there that they meet in person, these three, and signed this contract. We have a lot of more information because the people from the archive translated more or less the whole contract, which from my point of view is quite hard, but they did a great job. There is a QR code. You can scan this QR code to have more information about this contract between Jakob Fugger and the Turso brothers. So, I would like to hand over this, of course, copy of the document. It's not the original one, but if you want to see it, just come to Augsburg and we will show you a copy of this document, a short explanation, and yes, we did not this in the original document, of course, but to show you where the signatures are, I think it is quite helpful. So, Martina, please. I think. So hopefully there will be a place somewhere in your school where you can put this document on the walls, and so the students can have a look at this historical day in January 1507.
Thank you very much. This is a really big surprise. We didn't expect something like this, and really, we are really very honored to have this one as the first in Banská Bystrica in our school. So thank you for your research. Very nice.
Okay. So thank you all. And
Okay, so now it is the time for the Italian students and their presentation. So the stage is theirs now.
Kan je doorgaan? Ja. das noch wie mit? Ja. Gehst du, weil wir starten ja mit dem Kahoot. Gehst du in Kahoot? Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Dear teachers, dear students, dear guests, now our presentation starts. We are the Italian group. This is Hannah, Nadia, Paula, Johanna, and Simon behind the computer. So, just have to wait a second and then we'll be ready. Because we would like to start our presentation with a little game, a Kahoot. We already played it. And it is basically about some fun facts about South Tyrol and our tradition, our culture, some famous people and famous places in South Tyrol. So we just have to wait and then it will start. Okay. So maybe get together with a partner in 2 or 3 people and then give yourself a creative and funny nickname and yes. And make sure to get all the answers right because we have a very, very special prize for the best 3 players. Should you know warten? Okay. Is everybody ready? Has everybody joined? No? Okay, I'll wait another second. Ready? Okay. So we can start. Okay. Fun facts about South Tyrol. First question. Does South Tyrol boast with Mediterranean vegetation? Oh, not a lot of people got this right. Yes, it actually does, in the west, in a beautiful city called Meran. So, next question. What famous World Cup downhill ski slope does this picture show? Really good, because that was a difficult one. It's Saslong in Val Gardena. Who is our most famous resident? This guy. Really good. Yes, it's Ötzi. Okay. What achievement made this South Tyrolean famous? Yes. So. Next one. Why are these signs bilingual in South Tyrol? Oh, not so good. Yes, so UN law imposed bilingualism. What is the South Tyrolean's favorite food? Very good. So actually not for me, I'm vegetarian, but in general, South Tyrolean people love Speckknödel. Okay, last but not least, what is the most exported agricultural product of South Tyrol? Oh, yes, so surprisingly, it's not wine, it's apples and fruits. So, who were the three best players? Okay. Okay. So come out and I can give you your present. Okay. Who is moderator one? Where?
That's me.
Ah.
Thank you.
Silvo. Oh. And Valera. Oh no, not you. Who is it? Okay. So now you already have a little impression about South Tyrol, about us, but we would still like to show you a little video about what South Tyrolean people are really like, what we are really like about our culture, about our traditions, because we have like this Tyrolean background, but also this Mediterranean and Italian background, so enjoy the video.
Welcome to this introduction video about the great autonomous province of South Tyrol, the real capital of Europe. So a huge amount of introduction video has been made worldwide. You've heard all types of jokes. We are serious, so you can stop looking for the second best country in the world and listen up. We are mountains, 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 and German tourists. And pizza. Oh. Und Knödel. Und Speck. Und Speckknödel. In Pasta. Ravioli. Gulasch. Schmutz und Staub. Spaghetti. Rippe. Schweizer. Strudel. Gulasch. Kastanienherzen. Hummus. Gerstu. It never gets boring. Gulasch. Best food ever. We don't waste any money on army or nuclear weapons. Gulasch. That's why we have the Schützen and the Südmannsburg. And MC Wolfsburg. So, let us introduce ourselves. We are called Südtiroler or City Roller. City, Jesus Christ. City Roller. Easy to remember, just for you.
So I think you got now a really, really good impression about us and our area. So we can start with the presentation of the footprints the Fuggers left in our hometown Sterzing.
Yeah, so we live in the most northern region in Italy called South Tyrol. And this region actually used to be part of Austria and has been Italian since the end of the First World War. It has therefore preserved much of its Austrian heritage and was granted a lot of autonomy from Italy. For example, we have 2 official languages now, Italian and German. Our mother tongue is German though, and our school is also a German-speaking school. And South Tyrol has about 560,000 inhabitants. In South Tyrol, the most northerly area is called the Wipptal, and its central city is Sterzing at about 1,000 meters above sea level. It has about 6,800 inhabitants, and our school is also located there. And the students come from Sterzing and its surrounding valleys. This is the pedestrian area of Sterzing, which reflects the character of the place, with its now valleys and the city's landmark. And here you can also see the 12th tower dating back to 1470. And then on the next slide, we have this is our school building reflecting the modern face of Sterzing.
Okay, I'm just waiting for next. Yeah. So the Fuggers came to Sterzing in 1524, and Jakob Fugger, also known as the Rich, bought the first mining shares there and other parts of Tyrol 1 year before his death. And then, little by little, the Fugger family bought the majority part of the mountain, Schneeberg, and the surrounding valleys, including several ore craters and 2 water-powered stamping mills. And this was the foundation of the Fugger mining industry in our area. So here's a little impression of the mining area of Schneeberg in the Rednaun Valley. And this used to be a mining settlement at the highest altitude in Europe at 2,355 meters. Its name was St. Martin. At its peak, more than 1,000 people used to live there. You can still visit it now.
The Schneeberg is now an open-air museum, the National Mining Museum in Rednaun. In the mining tunnels, the visitors run into mine workers like those in the time of the Fuggers. Some tunnels reached a length of 150 kilometers. There are other historical testimonies of the presence of the Fugger family in and around Sterzing. The mining court resided in Gossensass, later in Sterzing. Several houses where the shareholders of the miners lived show rocks with ores and reliefs above the door or the arcades. In the center of the town there is the Fugger House, which used to be the administrational building of the Fuggers, and today houses a dormitory for boys and a restaurant. The town became rich and beautiful houses and churches were built. The council chamber is a good example of that. The town was given the name Fuggerstadt, which means Fugger town, because it became rich through the Fuggers. The Fuggers themselves never lived there though. In 1663, the Fuggers sold their last shares of the mining industry and left Sterzing. The mines were kept in business by a corporation which was founded to make the downfall of the mining industry less drastic. Thank you.
So far, so good, right? And now, last but not least, our friends from Spain.
Hi, we are the Spanish team. We are Mario, Marta, Celia, Fatima, and Marina, and we present Almaden and the Fugger family.
Introduction to Almaden. Almaden is a Spanish town in the province of Ciudad Real, in the autonomous community of Castilla-La Mancha. It has a population of 5,069 inhabitants. But between the years 1950 and 1960, it had 13,000 inhabitants. One of the most important things about Almaden are the mines, which are not closed, but used to be where mercury has mined. Some interesting things about our town. Although it is a small town, it has many important things. One of them is the University of Mining and Industrial Engineering, which was founded in 1777. So nowadays it is 245 years old. It was the first miner engineering school in Spain and the third in Europe, and it promoted the training of engineering throughout Spain. In Almaden, you can also find the only hexagonal building in the world, but was built between the years 1752 and 1754, and it was declared a historic monument of national importance in 1979. It has been part of the Union of Buildings since the year 2001. The Hospital of Miners of Almaden was where sick miners were taken when they got ill because of harmful gases in the mine. It was very important in the past because there a lot of people were cured, but nowadays it is a museum to remember all the miners who gave their life to work in the mine.
Almaden was heritage site. Almaden has been recognized as a World Heritage Site since 2012 because of the mercury deposits it possesses. These deposits is unique because 35% of the mercury consumed by humanity has come from it. The Almaden mines are one of the largest reserves in the world and also one of the oldest, since they were exploited by the Romans and its activity was stopped in 2003. The Almaden mines. These mines were the world's largest mercury producer, without stopping in production for more than 2,000 years. The mine. These mines have production of more than 7 million barrels. We have support more than 95% of the total production of the district. The other mines have a production of between 100,000 and 200,000 barrels. Mercury bottle. It was a type of container used to keep the mercury. 2.5 liters.
The Fugger family. They were a German family originally from Graben. They were mainly dedicated to banking and commerce. They became rich thanks to the exploitation of silver and copper and the export of salt. They gained political influence and mining monopoly by financing the war activities of House of Habsburg. Jacob Fugger. Jacob Fugger was key in the election of Charles V as Holy Roman Emperor. This granted him a loan of nearly 500,000 guilders to buy the votes of German electors. He died childless in 1525, and the company passed into the hands of his nephews. The Fuggers were Charles V's lenders, helping him finance his expansive policy. The Fuggers' decline. The European and Protestant opposition to Charles I forced the firm to end its business in Hungary in 1548. They had to abandon the Baltic copper market. The banking business was still its main base, but the Crown of Spain was increasingly in debt, and in 1557, when Philip II ascended to the throne, he could not meet the payments on his loans.
How the Fugger arrived in the peninsula. In 1518, Jacob financed the election of Charles I with 500,000 florins, which he had to recover with the income from the mercury mines of Almaden. Charles I lived his right, and the Fugger were able to keep half of the sum annually as the final balance of the electoral debt. Inheritance of the Fugger in Almagro and Almaden. One of the factories created by the Fugger in Spain was that of Almagro, from where they derived the exploitation of the Almaden mine. In conclusion, today Almaden and Almagro are still related because of the influence of the Fugger in both places. The Chalperon San Miguel and San Juan sang underground work of the mining park, and one of the exhibition rooms of the Mercury Museum clearly saw the activities of the German banker in Almaden and Almagro.
Society and economy in Almaden. Almaden was declared a World Heritage Site in 2012, after the sale of mercury was prohibited in 2003. In order to provide outlets for the miners, the Dehesa of Castilcera, a farm was created and miners had to become farmers. What is there in Almaden nowadays? When Almaden mines were closed, there was a new development in agriculture, livestock, trade, and tourism. We have natural space such as the Dehesa or Old Osk, where many types of animals and birds live, such as the black vulture or the common frog, and there are also many types of trees. What we believe Almaden will be like in the future. We are very optimistic and we think that it will get better, since it has many services to offer and it will be an excellent place for development and investment. However, many young people will have to go abroad to be able to get the studies they want and to have a good job with a fixed salary. Thank you for your attention. I hope you like its presentation.
Well, we are really excited about the